What's going on, Longhorn Nation, or all 3 to 5 of our fans that listen to us every week? Brett and
Maybe
I
six to
here.
eight.
Again, I guess. So, last week, whenever I did the preview for Mississippi State, obviously I was here solo. But I mentioned my beauty and the brains were both gone. So, Brett, are you the beauty or are you the brains of this group?
Yeah. Considering the other one, I think I'd have to take both of those.
Yep, I had a feeling you were going to say that. Well, Ben, we'll miss you. Hopefully, I don't accidentally mess up whenever we upload this and just have a bunch of me answering a bunch of random questions. Either way, inside jokes here. We're here. We're a little bit later in the week, but we wanted to try and get some more info on exactly what was going on with Arch Manning and the concussion protocol and all that. So I know all of y'all have been following it closely, and we're here to kind of recap the, absolutely absurd win over Mississippi State and kind of get into what's going on against Vanderbilt in the top 10. Vanderbilt coming in. That's a wild statement to say in 2025, but here we are. Brett, I'll lead us off with Mississippi State recap.
Okay.
The game started off about as clean as it could have. You force a 3-and-out, you score a touchdown in 2 plays, you force another 3-and-out. Those 3 drives, you're talking about 3 minutes off the clock, and you got the ball for the second time, and you're already up 1 score. We were texting, hey, here we go. This is the kind of attitude. This is the kind of ball we need to see. I realized, the one big play that came that really led to the touchdown was a Ryan Wingo screen pass, and he made some people miss. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. So it's not like we methodically worked ourselves down the field or anything, but at the end of the day, your defense had played 6 plays, your offense had played 2 plays. You had the ball and you were up 7-0 with 12 minutes on the clock in the first quarter. You could not have felt better about the way that game had started. Oh. And then the rest of the game played. So seriously, literally for the first 3 drives, pretty much until the fourth quarter, you had to feel like Texas was at a complete loss. I know, again, we texted each other. We didn't know what was going on. Sometimes the offense made a couple big plays in a row. Sometimes the defense made a couple big plays in a row. But for the most part, Mississippi State had that game in control. And you can go look at one point, I think Texas had a 1.4 winning percent chance, or a chance of winning that game. And that just goes to show, statistically and based on historical facts of all games that have been in that situation based on time of possession, yards gained, etc., being on the road, whatever you want to put in there, whatever factors you want to put in there, Texas should have never won that game going into the fourth quarter. And the fact that they did, absolute hats off to Texas for that, showing that Texas fight. And I hate to say bringing it all together because that's not what happened. I think part of it was Mississippi State not keeping their foot on the throat, unfortunately. It was a little bit of both there. But Texas still had to make the plays to do what they had to do. It's not like things were just given to them. Granted, there was, I believe, a roughing the passer penalty that went against us, and maybe one, or that didn't go against us, that went in our favor, and maybe like a drop ball or something from Mississippi State. But for the most part, Texas still had to play damn near perfect from the fourth quarter on to even have a chance to win that game. Sure enough, they put themselves in contention to do it. They force overtime. And at that point, it kind of felt like how the Arizona State game went last year. Texas had all the momentum. We scored first, and then it's like, all right, defense, go out there. All you got to do is don't let them score a touchdown. And 4th and 20 from their own, 35-yard line, it was never going to happen. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I was super proud of the team for fighting back. Kind of what I mentioned in the preview of, if that would have been a home game, hopefully instead of booing, our fans would have been cheering to encourage them, to try and lift them up. I think, Mac Brown mentioned that either a week or 2 ago, and that was the exact moment where if that was to be a home game, we need Texas fans to cheer for them and not boo them. And who knows, maybe they heard me, because I text you guys. I said, hey, you guys want to do the recap? As soon as we went down 14-31, I said, you guys want to do the recap? Texas wins 38-31. Yeah. Which was obviously a little sarcastic, but I was just trying to put something good out in the universe. And all of a sudden, things did really turn around. It was impressive to watch them fight back. The beginning of the game, we tried to do a lot of the window dressing, which I know we're going to get into. hey, here's an RPO, here's a screen pass, here's a bootleg, whatever. A lot of play action, just trying to scheme up something. And I don't know if that's what's been holding Arch back or not, because we've talked about it, like he needs to see somebody open in order to throw it. And you can see him hesitate, and you can see his arm just not want to throw the ball because he doesn't think his guy's there, or he doesn't believe he's going to catch it. But man, that last quarter, they just were like, Arch, shotgun, go back. If you see something, throw it. Otherwise, move around. Feel free to run, or wait till somebody else flashes open for a second. So I don't know if that's the way that they have to go in order to just kind of get Arch into a better groove, or what. It might be the way that he works best, is a little off script. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but Mahomes is obviously very good at working on script when it's there, but he is a genius at working off script. And he's not technically a two-way player, like he's not, or not a two-way player, he's not a dual threat player, but he can still rush for 40 yards a game in the NFL and absolutely put pressure on the defense, because you have to respect that. And he'll run for 2 touchdowns a game every now and then. So maybe that's what we need out of Arch, is like just let him play however he played in high school. And I know Sark wants everything to work in a script, right? He wants it to work in this perfect box and then also be able to adjust and an ad lib. But think about when we had Casey Thompson versus who was the other quarterback? Hudson Card. Hudson Card won the competition, but he looked horrible in that offense because he couldn't keep it on script. Casey Thompson couldn't keep it on script, but he was a gamer. He was a baller. He went out there and made plays. And the team felt more fun whenever he was playing. So maybe that's kind of like an Arch versus Quinn. Quinn was horrible he was actually not bad out of the pocket, but you don't ask him to scramble and make those kind of plays. He was great at, yep, I'm going to throw the ball. I know that guy's going to be there. So maybe what we're dealing with is Sark, you need to start calling plays like you did for Casey Thompson, and a little bit more of a scramble mode, and just it's okay if things don't go exactly as you script them, as long as it's a successful play. And hopefully Arch can play that way. The end of that game, the fourth quarter of that game, was magnificent. Defense, I'll let you talk a little bit more about defense. That's kind of what I noticed from the offense. I'll let you talk about the offensive line as well. I didn't look at any of their grades. I'm sure they're undesirable. But at the same time, the defense let up a bunch of yards. Let's see. How many yards? Do you know off the top of your head, by any chance, Brad?
It was over 400. It's like 450.
Over 400.
Actually,
So
might have
kind
been
of the
close
same
to 500.
You're right. It's 382 and 63. So, yeah, about 450 yards. So, at Florida, against OU, at Kentucky, at Mississippi State. 3 out of the last 4 games, that defense has bent and not always broken. But against Kentucky, that didn't technically break, but they bent a lot, right? This letting up 400-plus yards is it's not the defense we thought we were going to get, but maybe that's, again, kind of like these are the pieces we're given, so this is what we have to play with. This is the hand we're dealt. These are the cards we have to play with, right? So I'm real curious to see how they play when they come back home. It's been 41, 42 days since they get a chance to come back home and play. But that defense letting up all those yards is certainly worrisome. The fact that they were able to make the plays when it counted the most and win the game despite letting up 38 points on the road is pretty impressive. So I say all that. Those are my opening thoughts. Texas, well done, fellas. Way to get in there and win. Taft wasn't there. I know that was a big deal on the back end of that secondary, but it also allowed other players to make a lot of plays, and a ton of them were flying around. So those are kind of my initial thoughts. We can dig more into the defense or offense, or hell, we can obviously go with the special teams, which I damn near threw out my back when I jumped up to celebrate that thing. So, Brett, I'll let you kind of get some thoughts in here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered most of it, but I mean, yeah, I'm with you. The game started just like we would expect a good team to start a game. You go down, you score, you get 3 and outs, and then we just hit the brakes. And I was texting Hunter mid-game, or he was texting me, and he was asking specifically about what was going on, and I was like, well, one thing that I noticed was DJ Campbell got hurt, right? DJ Campbell's our right guard.
That's a big deal.
He's probably one of two offensive linemen that are above average, I'd say, on this team. Him and Trevor Gooseby would be the two. And the rest of the guys are coming along. I'm not going to harp on them too much. They're young, inexperienced guys. But he goes down on, one of those plays where an edge swung around a different offensive lineman and kind of whipped into the back of DJ Campbell, took out his knees. Looked kind of nasty at first. It's definitely a scary type of incident that occurred. And the fact that DJ was down for so long was also concerning. And he was out for a while, but he came back in the third quarter. But while he was out, the offense completely stopped. I mean, absolutely stopped. They put Connor Stroh back in at right guard, and we know he's been struggling this entire year. He's just extremely unathletic, can't move. And then all of a sudden, here we go again. The pass rush is there immediately. There's no run blocking. The smaller, more athletic defensive lineman causes trouble for the oversized offensive line of Texas. It's the same story over and over again. And then DJ Campbell came back. And I think he came back in the third quarter. I don't know if he started the third quarter or if he came in midway through the third quarter, but I noticed him in there. And then all of a sudden we kind of started clicking again. And I think we scored a touchdown late in the third quarter. Then they scored that shovel pass. That awful
Both
little
of
shovel.
those, I think you're thinking about the fourth quarter there, actually. With that shovel pass.
Well,
that
after the shovel pass, we scored 17 unanswered. So I'm talking about
Correct.
we scored a touchdown.
Right.
They came back and scored on the shovel pass to take it back up to 17.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that was, I know DJ Campbell was in there. And the point I'm making is something clicked again for the offense. Right? We started getting going again. Defense lets up a huge play, a 65-yard shovel pass. Very reminiscent of the Ohio State, Travion Henderson screen pass that went for a touchdown in the college football playoff semifinal last year, where, missed assignment, bad angles, running back can just take it all the way to the house. Not even that crazy of a play. And then after that, we had it, right? Right after that, we scored a touchdown. I don't remember how we scored the first touchdown. Oh, Emmett Mosley over the shoulder. That was cool. That was cool to see
Very
that.
cool.
The way he could contort his body to fall and kind of Ted Williams type style catch. Then right after that, defense does what they need to do. I think they got a 3-and-out, or they played very well, and we got the ball back. And I think it was like the first series, or the first down or second down. Arch steps up in the pocket. Ryan Wingo's running wide open on a post, and he hits him in stride all the way down to the 5-yard line or somewhere around there. And unfortunately, we don't score, but we do kick a field goal. And so now we're within 7. We know what, and then after that, everyone knows what happens, right? Defense goes back out there, 3-and-out, punt to Ryan Niblett. And Ryan Niblett, this unknown character in Texas lore, is becoming, truly a hero for Texas football this year. It's unbelievable how he's. It just seems like it just all of a sudden clicked. Like the OU game, boom, it clicked. And he's off and running, and a few plays later, Brandon Walker from Barstool is crying in the background. That's actually something I wrote down. I've seen so many clips of Brandon Walker, like sad Brandon Walker clips. Him watching Emmett Mosley catch that over that back shoulder fade in the end zone, and like his commentary, like he looks over at the other guy and he's like,
he caught that.
He's like, I think he got that. He's like, he caught that, didn't he? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I think he got that. And then we get a turnover on downs on the next series where they try to tie it in overtime. Look, ultimately, here's the thing. That was Mississippi State. We should have beaten them by 17 points. They're not a good team. They're one of the worst teams in the SEC. That is just undeniable. The fact that this team continuously plays to the level of competition, I guess, could be good or bad. It's probably good going into this next series of games, if you think about it, right? We thought OU was much better than us. They turned out maybe that maybe they're not that great. And we played way better than them, but we played Ohio State to a 1-score game. And everybody else on our schedule, we've played either up or down to their level of competition. Mostly it's been down. So, hey, can we keep this trend of playing to our level of competition? I will take that against Vanderbilt. I'll take that against Georgia, and I will take that against A&M because each one of those teams are top 10 teams,
Yeah.
right? Give yourself a
Sure.
chance. And that's kind of what you do. And that's what I think that's what we're kind of starting to see, too, is you give this team a chance. They're not the most technical team. The offensive line is not a real good technical team, not very cohesive. The wide receivers don't run great routes as far as we know. The running backs are not dynamic, but they have a little bit of that off script magic that you were alluding to, where they can put big plays together. Ryan Wingo can catch a screen pass, and because he's super fast, not because of the way the play was designed, but because he's super fast, he can
Big and strong.
make a house call on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arch Manning can make a lot of plays with his feet and then with his incredible arm talent. The offensive line is big and heavy enough to be able to clear some lanes and get some open space in the running back game. We could see some explosive plays there. So there is opportunity for that, and that might be kind of this team's identity is kind of hang in there and get to that fourth quarter and just see if we can find some magic, whether that's from our offense, we know we can get it from our defense, and then most recently we've been getting it from Ryan Niblett and our special teams.
Yeah. And I think we got to, we talked about in the beginning of the season, just to kind of bring something back from there, was will Texas have a 1,000-yard rusher? And I know you and Ben were like, yeah, absolutely. Like, we can do this. Let's go. And I was definitely more hesitant, and I gave the old thumbs down to that. I want this team to be able to run the ball like they did against OU. I just don't know when or if we're ever going to see that again. And maybe it is against a team where, okay, you got to play up to this competition.
We're not going to see it this year. There's
you
no
might
way.
be able to see it against Vanderbilt, and you might see it against Arkansas or A&M. Georgia, and all for different reasons, right? Because against Vanderbilt, maybe they're more paper tiger than anything, honestly. Like if you look at their strength of schedule, I haven't, but I can't imagine it's in the top half, and we'll get to that. Georgia's Georgia. They seem to have our number. It's going to be at Georgia. We don't play great on the road, so not holding my breath there. Arkansas is not a very good defense, so maybe you can do it against them. And then A&M is rivalry. Like maybe you just get the juices flowing, right? So that would be the only way I could think, maybe they can start to find it and start to believe in themselves, right? Like Neo, he's starting to believe. I just, they're running like, I don't know how they're going to score if they're within the 5-yard line. I know that we did against Mississippi State, don't get me wrong. I think we had one 1-yard run, and then Arch had a touchdown run as well, a short touchdown run. Otherwise, it's probably going to have to be a little bit more creative play calls, some scrambling, and great catches by Livingston and Mosley. You're right. I totally glossed over those. I mean, both of those guys made unbelievable toe tap, fingertip catches when they had to. And if those are the guys that we have to rely on to make those plays, that's great because Jack injuries seems to have totally disappeared. The run game, I know Baxter was coming back, but he didn't look special, I get it. He's coming back from an injury. I just don't know if
we don't have a guy at running back right now.
No,
I mean, maybe we have a young guy like maybe James Simon could be that guy, but we're not showing the trust in him, and we don't have that we don't have the Bijan Robinson certainly, or one of those guys that you can just kind of plug and play, even as a true freshman. We just don't have that level of talent in the running back room, and I honestly kind of think we don't have that level of talent in the wide receiver room right now either. I mean, we've got some guys there that are starting to fill shoes. This is going to honestly, it's going to kind of come down to that hero ball from Arch.
And Arch put the team.
Give him simple concepts, very simple concepts. The RPO's not working for us this year at all.
We can't run. Who cares?
We can't run. I mean, any of our pulling gap schemes are not working. For whatever reason, outside zone seems to be our best running play, which is crazy considering how big and unathletic some of our linemen are. The outside zone is the one thing that we seemingly can do well. I'm with you. That was Mississippi State. As great of a comeback as it was, and it'll live in infamy for a lot of different reasons. Some of those plays will be cemented in your mind. it was still Mississippi State. You should have never been in that situation in the first place. You should have certainly never been down 17 points. And like
Twice.
twice, yeah,
Yeah,
twice.
twice.
Twice. And
In the fourth
I mean,
quarter.
we were talking pregame, pre-podcast. The defense should have never allowed this situation in the first place.
Right.
The fact that
Yep.
when we hit 450 yards on giving up on defense, but 38 points, like and those aren't points off turnovers. They had one turnover that I think resulted in a touchdown, but like outside of that, I mean, what? I mean, we just had guys getting beat. We had old Texas Longhorn Brennan Thompson scored 2 touchdowns against us.
He looked
Right.
good, man.
He did. He's fast. I mean, he's fast. No doubt about that. But, we were getting no pressure on Blake Shapen to start that game at all. It finally came around the fourth quarter, which ended up being kind of our saving grace. So, you got to move on. Like, as exciting as it was to come back and win that one, it's time to move on. It's time to move on to Vanderbilt because this is the hardest stretch of the season by far.
Definitely.
You've got 3 of the next 4 are top 10 opponents. You play 3 of them at home, which is nice. You play Georgia in Athens. Good luck. And Arkansas at home is no guarantee either. I mean, they kept it close with A&M, and this is also a rivalry. Like Arkansas hates Texas as much as they hate anybody.
Yep.
So they want to come in. They all these teams smell blood in the water. Everybody wants to be the one that sticks that final nail in the coffin of Texas's season to make sure that they're not going to go to the CFP and just to kind of ruin all their hopes and dreams. And it could be any one of these 4 teams could do it to you. And I have not seen anything proving that we are guaranteed to win in any of these games.
100% agreed. For Mississippi State, kind of like I was saying with you guys about Kentucky is, yes, it's about what Texas goes out and does, but it was just as much about Mississippi State had won a SEC game in 15 games and almost exactly to the day 2 years. And like you said, they could smell the blood in the water, and they had them dead to right and couldn't pull it off. Like, again, so give credit to Texas for pulling that off because they could have absolutely just laid over and said, well, it is what it is. We'll try again next year. Something clicked, something flipped, and they went out there and started balling. So it was, Mississippi State was there ready to do the best, or ready to give it their all. And they gave it their damnedest, and for whatever reason, they just could not close out that game. Speaking of which, I know we talked about the defense and why they let up so many yards. I went back and was looking at drive charts. I believe Texas had either 15 or 16 if you count the overtime drive of like where they actually tried to drive the ball. So if you count overtime, they had 16 drives. How many of those drives do you think were 4 plays or less on offense?
On us being on offense?
For offense, we had 16 drives. How many were 4 plays or less?
Well,
so basically, It was almost a 3 and out. We just punted.
Yeah, we scored 45 points, so that means we had 6 touchdowns, so 7 total scores. I would say, I don't know if we even converted any of those others, so that leaves 9 where we gave the ball back to them. One of them was an interception. And I think that was a pretty quick one. When this offense stagnates, it stagnates. Like there's no game.
It's bad.
It's ugly. So if there's 9 remaining after the 7 scores, if I did the math right there, I'm gonna say 8 of them.
You did. You nailed it. There's 8 of them. Which is your math off the top of your head. I know we usually say, hey, we promise there'll be no math, but holy crap, nice job. You nailed that. Yeah. We had one other drive that I think was like 9 plays, and we punted. Or we missed the field goal. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was a missed field goal.
Right.
So the other ones were literally an interception on the first play or 8 4 and outs. Or I'm sorry, 7 4 and outs. And only one of them was a 4 and out. Everything else was a 3 and out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, hey, wait, that was good. Nice job. How bad that offense was from the 12th minute of the first quarter to realistically the first minute of the or with 12 minutes left in the first quarter to 15 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
How bad that offense was in that time is mind blowing.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. Your defense was exhausted. That's why they gave up so many damn runs or so many damn yards. So
Yeah.
hard to blame them. It'll be
Well,
nice. They're coming home. They'll absolutely be rejuvenated. It's going to be a great day Saturday. But
well,
we can get to that.
I'll wrap it up with this. It was not the game we wanted. We did not want a second overtime game on the road against very much like bottom of the barrel SEC opponents. That was not the plan. These were to get healthy, to see some young talent. Like these are the types of games that are kind of shake up games. Knock a little bit of rust off, try some new things, but certainly don't expose yourself. Fortunately, we got the win in both these games. Unfortunately, we hurt our starting quarterback. Unfortunately, we hurt Michael Taff, our leader for the defense. And we certainly have some scars and some exposure now to what other teams can do to us to catch us in our weak spots. So, hey, the nice thing I guess about being in Texas is the weather's finally cooled off this week, right? Praise God. So we're actually gonna have some good football weather for our first home game in 5 weeks on Saturday. So it's time to put the Kentucky game, it's time to put the Mississippi State game behind us, and move on to the next one. And with that, we'll wrap this one up. And as always, we're what is it? We're unfiltered, never biased,
and
100% truthful. Something else. Throw some other adjectives in there. But for now,
we need the brains.
yeah, hook 'em.
Hook 'em.